This is Danny Stygion, and in today's video, I want to quickly talk about getting your fetish photography work published in a magazine for the first time. And I have two different perspectives on this. I have the perspective of a photographer who's had his work published in various magazines, and as a magazine publisher, as far as what I'm looking for when people submit images for Cynical and Subspace. I started off as a photographer in my early 20s, and over the course of the first year, I learned basics of photography and I developed my own style. And I would photograph friends and people who I knew who needed photos. And after about a year, that's when I started to submit to different magazine publications. There was a few magazine publications that I really liked and admired, and I owned copies of their magazines, so I had an idea what they wanted, and I researched their websites for contact information. I did all this before I submitted 2 photo sets of Portia Surreal, and my first magazine publication was in Marquee Magazine, and my second publication was in Skin 2 Magazine, and both these publications happened back to back pretty quickly. And since then, my work has been published in other magazines such as Hustler and Retro Lovely and some other ones. My advice to someone who's trying to get their work published for the first time is to make sure you know what they're looking for, that you've actually seen copies of their magazine, you've looked through it, you've looked through their social media profiles and platforms, and you've looked through their website. One of my pet peeves as a magazine publisher is when I receive an image submission from someone who's obviously never seen the inside of a copy of Cynical or Subspace. And you could tell when people are just chasing credits. They really don't care about your magazine or publication. They just want to add another credit to their list. And that's pretty transparent when people are like that. I've never submitted images to a magazine that I hadn't researched before or I liked. So that's something you should stay away from, just to make sure that you know the magazine that you're submitting to. Secondly, it's kind of frowned upon when I receive a photo set and I agree to publish the photo set in a magazine, and then I see the same photo set in another publication pretty soon after. It's not really cool. Sometimes I'll see images on social media platforms before we can publish the set, and that doesn't bother me as much as just seeing the same set in another publication. I think these sets should be exclusive, and that's one of the things that I try to point out to people before they submit their sets, but people still do it anyway, and I try not to work with these people again once they've done it. So that's something to keep in mind. But most websites will have information on what publication is looking for as far as how many images they need, what type of resolution, and a few other guidelines. If not, you can contact the publisher to see what they're looking for. And it's not that hard to get your work published in a magazine. Just as long as you do the research and then you're submitting good content that hasn't been published before in another magazine, you should be fine. And if you have any other questions about getting your work published in a fetish magazine, then feel free to reach out to me.